Jungkook's shocking confession in America finally leaked and his reaction left many shaking. But even more surprising, why is Taehyung just silent? Is there something HYB is hiding? Or is this all part of a bigger plan? He confessed in America? But what Taehyung does next leaves everyone speechless. Jungkook's shocking confession in America leaked, but why is Taehyung silent? HYB is known to have given the direction to Taehyung for this to be born by Jungkook. Is it true that all this was designed from the very beginning? Is it possible Jungkook shouldn't have said a word? And why did Taehyung, the only person with him on the set, actually look down and avoid the microphone? Isn't he usually the most outspoken, even in the most bizarre situations? But when the confession was spoken, Taehyung was speechless. Total silence. The question now leads to one hot spot. What exactly did HYB tell Taehyung, and why should Jungkook be the one to endure it all? Amid the intense camera glare, as the whole world awaited BTS' routine announcement on the stage of a prestigious American event, no one expected that the day would end with teary eyes, choked voices, and tears that could no longer be contained. Jungkook stood up, initially smiling. But then, in an instant everything changed. His voice broke. The words spoken from him are no longer sentences arranged in a script, but raw, honest, and wounded confessions. I can't pretend anymore. I just want you to know, it's not just my decision. The room was suddenly quiet. The journalists who usually storm in with questions seemed frozen in silence. Even the backstage staff looked frantic, staring at each other. One started to pick up the phone as quickly as possible, and someone from the management team was seen walking towards Taehyung. But strangely, he didn't move. Taehyung didn't look up. Not reprimand. It doesn't even cut into Jungkook's speech. The question now splits the army in two. What does Taehyung's silence mean, and why hasn't HYB given any official clarification on the incident? Is it true that Taehyung has been asked to let Jungkook speak and bear all the consequences alone? Or could there be something much darker behind all this? An internal source who requested anonymity revealed that before the show began, there were serious talks between one of HYB's directors and Taehyung behind closed doors. At that time, Jungkook had not yet arrived at the location, and no other members were present. Why did the meeting only involve Taehyung? And what does the code let him talk if he really wants to, but you know what to do mean? This sentence has been one of the clues that fans have continued to discuss since the leak of unverified pieces of audio. Was all this part of HYB's damage control strategy that failed to execute perfectly? Or could it be that they relied too much on Taehyung to keep the group's image by swallowing the guilt that he never did? Jungkook was visibly shaken after the confession. A few minutes after getting off the stage, he did not go straight to the vehicle as usual. He walked alone to the back of the building and sat on the sidewalk, looking down, holding his head. An unidentified person uploaded this photo to fandom's private platform, and in an instant, it went viral. But interestingly, the picture shows Taehyung standing not far behind Jungkook, looking at him from afar without a word. Why isn't he approaching? Why is he just looking at her? Is that a guilty look? Or the look of someone waiting for the next signal? The days that followed were filled with suspicious silence. Jungkook hasn't appeared on social media for nearly a week, whereas before he was very active in sharing stories and small updates with fans. Instead, Taehyung actually started sharing the very content, unusual. An abstract painting with a caption, "Some things are better left unsaid," is in the spotlight. Many ARMY suspect it is a code. But code for what? Some fandom analysts even unpacked their activity patterns and found that some old posts related to trust and sacrifice were suddenly deleted from Taehyung's account. Did he try to erase the traces? Or did someone ask him to do it? Meanwhile, an official statement from HYB only appeared 4 days after the incident, and unfortunately, not a single word touched on the contents of Jungkook's confession. They only stated that BTS is in a period of individual reflection and is strategizing for the future. That sounds so normative, it's barely even relevant. The fans asked, does that mean HYB really wants all this to be forgotten? But how is it possible to forget something that is so disturbing, especially when it is said directly from the mouth of Jungkook, an idol who has always been known to always keep his words, never just talk, and really appreciate the trust of the ARMY? Could it be that the confession has to do with the internal pressure that he himself has been carrying? It has been speculated that over the past few months, Jungkook was forced to run solo projects that he didn't really want to take on, simply because management judged that Taehyung needed time off and space. Is this part of Jungkook's silent sacrifice to maintain balance within the group? And if that's the case, then why did Taehyung let Jungkook charge him in public? Is there a contract of silence that we never know? A person behind the production team revealed off the record that not all members agreed with the last promotional arrangement. Only one dared to speak. This sentence shook the fandom community. What does Jungkook mean? And if it does, who does not agree but chooses silence? Is silence really a form of consent? Or is it precisely a subtle form of betrayal? Some fans tried to defend Taehyung, saying that maybe he wasn't emotionally ready, or didn't know what to say when Jungkook's confession came so quickly. But haven't they been together for more than a decade? Shouldn't the knee-jerk reaction of someone who really cares be to stand by their best friend's side instead of freezing and turning away? Or could it be that Taehyung has been asked to maintain his image so much that he has forgotten how to be a normal human being? This question is further raised when it is revealed that within HYB, Taehyung is often used as a peacemaker among the member dynamics. But if peace means sacrificing one person, then it is not peace. That is manipulation. I ask this the first time Jungkook has violated HYB's order? And if so, what are the consequences after this? Will he be punished in secret? Freezing of activities? Or greater emotional distress? Behind the scenes, there seems to be more going on than we know. But one thing is certain, the confession was not a purely spontaneous moment. It was a burst of long-suppressed pressure, and Taehyung's silence was no coincidence. He knows something. He's keeping something. And the biggest question now is no longer about what Jungkook said, but what is Taehyung holding back? And why did HYB let Jungkook crumble alone in front of millions of eyes? And just when everyone was waiting for clarification from the party that should have understood best what was really happening, that is, Taehyung himself, what appeared was more and more silence. No live broadcasts, no personal statements on Weverse, no impromptu V-Live broadcasts like they used to con the army, with simple smiles and jokes. There is only empty. It was so quiet that fans began to associate all this with the times when BTS had almost quietly disbanded in 2018. But this time it was colder, more personal, more like something was deliberately buried. An old video went viral again, the moment when Taehyung hugged Jungkook from behind on the concert stage and whispered something that made Jungkook cry. At that time, not many knew the contents of the whisper. But now, the video has been reanalyzed. The fans try to read Taehyung's lip movements, and some suspect he said, "You're holding back too much. Everyone will know." Is it just a fan's heartbreak? Or is there a truth that is accidentally leaked through the memories of the past? Meanwhile, one entertainment reporter from South Korea who has been known to be very close to HYB suddenly deleted all tweets related to Jungkook's confession. In fact, the online article that had risen on the morning of the incident is now inaccessible. Why did they remove it? Is it because of pressure? Or any orders from above? Rumors began to grow wild. Some insiders admitted that before departure to America, there was a closed meeting in HYB's office. Jungkook reportedly rejected several press statements that had been prepared by the PR team. He felt uncomfortable and said that he did not want to constantly be a cover for decisions that did not come from him. Surprisingly, it was Taehyung who didn't seem to say anything at the meeting. In fact, in some previous cases, Taehyung has always been the most vocal person when he felt something was unfair. Then why is it different this time? Is it because the pressure is too great? Or is it because there are agreements that are much larger, more complex and more dangerous than just public opinion? Allegations that HYB gave tacit directions to Taehyung began to gain support after leaked documents emerged that appeared to come from within the agency. One of the sentences in the document reads, "Minimize the risk of a second vowel. Let the lead vocals channel emotionally. Coordinate with V not to intervene." That sentence is too specific, too technical, too appropriate for the situation. Who is the lead vocal here if not Jungkook? And if it's true, it means the whole moment of recognition. Isn't that a surprise to hubby? Means HYB know and let Then Taehyung knew and chose to be silent. But why? Is this part of the grand strategy of the post-military relaunch? No one expected that silence could hurt like this. Not even a word came out of Taehyung's lips as Jungkook's confession shook America. Thousands of eyes watching the unblinking live broadcast stared at the expressions of the two members who have been known to be the closest. But this time it looked as if they were separated by an invisible wall. A wall built not by them, but rather by something much bigger. Power, industrial pressure, and a screenplay written without full approval. Even more astonishing is how fans began to uncover digital traces of the past that suddenly felt contains hidden messages. Point one of them is an old vlog when Taehyung and Jungkook were sitting together in a hotel in Los Angeles around 2021. They talked lightly about BTS' future, but there was a moment when Taehyung said, "I don't know what's going to happen next, but I hope, whatever it is, we will not be silent about each other."
And today?
Instead, the silence became a cold wall between them. Why did Taehyung choose to remain silent? Is this evidence that something has changed between them? Or he can't talk because of it? Been given instructions not to talk. The question became even more poignant when word began to circulate that Jin, the oldest member who had just completed his military service, was trying to contact the two personally. A source stated that Jin was seen coming out of HYB headquarters with a tense face, and shortly afterwards uploaded a photo of a forced smile with a very short caption, "Sometimes, our hearts know more than our mouths." What does Jin mean? Was he referring to Jungkook and Taehyung's situation? Did he know something he couldn't say directly? Meanwhile, Jimin, who is known to be a very close person to the two, also did not give any statements. But surprisingly, a fan noticed that Jimin began to like some posts on the theme of the pain of being betrayed by the closest person. Some fans took it as a signal of undeliverable emotion. Is Jimin feeling the same shock? Or does he know who's wrong, but can't take sides? Question after question began to explode among the army, creating a sea of theories, unrest, and tension. The group, which has always been a symbol of togetherness, honesty, and brotherhood, now looks cracked. Not because of open fights, not because of explicit drama, but precisely because too much is not said. There are too many tears left behind a smile. Too many cuts are tightly closed for the sake of the perfect image, and in the end, only one voice was heard that day. Jungkook's voice, an idol who has been considered the golden mean, actually sacrifices himself on the big stage in order to convey something that, although not entirely clear, is clearly not a preamble. It was despair. It was the last honesty of someone who could no longer pretend. It was a scream born of years of pressure, which can no longer be denied. What made it all the more heartbreaking was the fact that after the confession, Jungkook's promotional schedule was abruptly halted. Some scheduled performances were cancelled for no apparent reason. HYB only gave a corny statement. There were internal adjustments. But what makes it all brighter is not so much the statement, but Taehyung's absence in those moments. Usually, in difficult conditions, there will be at least a sign of support from other members. But Taehyung? No photos, no support, no public messages. Until finally, a surprise happened. A CCTV footage from the back of the building where the event took place was leaked to a closed forum of fans. In the video, Taehyung is seen approaching Jungkook's car, but before he touches the door, he stopped his steps. He stood still for almost a full minute, then turned and left without looking back. Why didn't he come in? Why didn't he speak directly? Is it because he knows that he was no longer a place where Jungkook could lean? Or because he realized that the wounds he left were too deep to heal immediately? Sad questions began to creep into the minds of the army. Are all their laughs so far just shadows from the past that have faded away? Will Taehyung and Jungkook never return to the Taekook live moment? Did this recognition become the beginning of the rupture of the invisible thread that had united them? All this time, even more heartbreaking, that's when fans realized that Jungkook's latest solo track, originally scheduled for release next month, contained lyrics about "silence hurts more than screaming." Was this song written after the incident? Or it has long been prepared in anticipation when everything completely collapses? Until this article was written, none of HYB, Taehyung, or Jungkook provided any additional explanation. Just silence. Just speculation. Only a broken heart. 5 days. 5 days without a sound from Taehyung. 5 days that the army felt like 5 full years of emergency.